Let's talk about Daredevil Born Again, episode 4. So just like our other ones, we will give our score without any spoilers, and then we'll give a spoiler alert before we get into it. Alex, do you want to go ahead and start with your score on Daredevil Born Again, episode 4?
Sure, yep. I'll kind of be quick and sweet like you were last time. This kind of matched the same energy as the last episode for me, so I'd give it an 8 out of 8. I think it was a
8 out of 8.
Good continuation. So 8 out of 8, my lord. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so it's perfect, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you for the call out so I didn't feel stupid 10 minutes later. 8 out of 8.
I didn't realize we were changing our rating scale. Okay.
Oh, I'm getting old, man. Old and tired. We're not even that old, but 8 out of 10. Just like last week's episode, I think it was a good continuation. I really liked the interactions with the characters. I just think it was overall kind of matched the same energy, same acting, same type of action. I thought it just continued in a good way. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. No big negatives for me, really.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a good episode. I could have maybe given it a little higher, but there was one thing that irked me a little bit. It may not have changed much. I also gave it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there were a couple of really good acting performances in this, and I also liked how it had some really good comedic parts, which I enjoyed.
Yes.
And I feel like it's doing a good job of building up to some things, and it's doing it well. So yeah, solid. 8 out of 8.
Yep, 8 out of 8. Oh my god. The funny thing is, I would not have even noticed if you didn't say anything.
That's funny.
Oh Lord. Yeah, let's get into the spoiler.
Yeah, all right. Spoiler alert for Daredevil Born Again, episode 4.
The perfect episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what was the one thing bringing it down a little bit for you.
I felt the scene with the guy who stole the caramel corn was a little, I don't know if it was too long or like something about it kind of irked me. It was frustrating how adamant he was that he would get off with probation.
The first or second scene he was in?
Yeah, the second one, I guess.
The one like after he tried to get the probation.
Yeah, I mean both of them. I think
when he got the 10 days. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, both of them. Yeah.
Because like I get the point they're trying to make with the system holding people down and like not letting them get out of this life of crime. But I mean, he did steal the caramel corn, and your rap sheet is like 25 different offenses long, and I don't know. It just seemed like he seemed really. I don't know. It just annoyed me a little bit.
It would have been different if this was like his first offense, and they're trying to play the angle of the system's rigged.
Yeah.
For me, because, I'm black or something. They're not going off of that. They're going off of, he already has like 30 or something, what do they say, 20 different offenses.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. And I agree.
I feel like they could have done it a different way, even with the way he acts. Like, I don't know, maybe he was too abrasive instead of trying to like really, because at the end he did try and get the point across that like he didn't have a choice, but I don't know, it just felt like he was cocky and abrasive for no real reason. It wasn't the biggest deal, but it just those scenes
I agree,
could have been better in my opinion.
Like I said, if they would have had it be like his first offense or something, I feel like we would have as audience
been
felt
more sympathetic.
Like,
yeah,
I still felt sympathetic for him, but I'm kind of like you where I was like, well, you did have 20 something offenses.
Yeah, you did steal it. Yeah,
so yeah, I get what you're saying there. And even Matt was exhausted with it. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, and the epitome of that was when he's like, what if a scroll did it? And Matt was just like, come on, we don't that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
I thought that was a funny little interaction.
My question to you is that little side story, what was the point of that side story?
I think kind of to show that the system isn't working, I guess.
But we already kind of knew that with these dirty cops.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to wonder. Like, I mean, maybe it got him into the place where he had that interaction with that dirty cop.
That was a good scene.
Mm-hmm. And I liked the interaction with the girl, like you said, kind of a little bit of funny scenes in there. And like you said, like I did feel for the dude. I'm like, look, like the way you're talking, like, and even Matt's like, you're right, it is rigged. Like,
yep.
But dude, you have 20 something offenses. What do you think? Like even Matt's like, what do you think? Like,
yeah.
I get what you're saying, but what do you think they're giving you 10 days?
Yeah, and like Matt got it down a lot for what he was working with. Like
Yeah, so I get what they were trying to do, but I agree. I think it was just, I don't know, a little off. But I did like this, when he was kind of explaining to me. I did like that scene when, Matt's like, you're right. Like it was an emotional scene when they got to that point.
Yep. And I do think it does push Matt a little bit more to wanting to be Daredevil again, to change the system. And yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, it's kind of like, the everyday guy kind of getting the system is against him, So like, I get that angle, like the system's against him, and it's for cornflakes or whatever.
There's this horrible like cycle of getting so down you have to do something bad, and then getting put back in prison, and then not being able to get a job, and then being, just wanting some candy, wanting something that tastes good. Like, it is a tough cycle to be in. So I definitely felt for him there.
Yeah. And even what he said, I mean, they're going to pay more putting me into the system than
feeding me.
Stole for the cornflakes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't think like that, because then everyone will just steal some cornflakes.
Yeah.
But anyways, I agree with you. I think you're right. For me, it was the tone he was talking to Matt, like laughing that he's a blind guy. Like, he was kind of being straight up rude. He did not make us feel bad for him until that last scene.
Right. Yep.
Besides that, like I said, it gave us some interesting scenes.
Yeah, it did.
Him being in the court and stuff.
Yeah.
But the main scene I loved, which I'm sure you did, is when he talked to the Punisher.
Yes.
That was a pretty emotional and well acted scene.
Yes, for sure. I mean, man, Bernthal picked up right where he left off as Frank. That was such a good scene of the first thing you see of the Punisher is him shoving an axe into something like that fits the character.
Yes. And I love how he's kind of the one getting to Matt, like, dude, you're thinking of him, aren't you? It's all about him, because Matt's like, it's not about him.
Say his name. Yeah, that was good.
That was such a good scene by both actors.
Yep. And then after Matt punches him, he's like, man, that was the first truthful thing you did. Such good lines.
I really enjoyed that scene, and I really like how they're making Foggy's death affect Matt this much, because it should, because that's like his best friend. Like,
yep. And it's funny that the first 3 seasons, Foggy was always like the angel on his shoulder being like, don't be Daredevil, do this the right way. And now that Foggy's gone, he has Frank, the devil, on his shoulder being like, do something about it.
Yep. When, like you said, when Matt punched him and said sorry, like, you could tell like he is scared to start fighting again.
Yeah.
Because I think he knows, like, man, if I start fighting, I don't know if I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
I actually think, I wonder if we're going to get a more of a gray area type Daredevil when he comes back.
That'll be interesting.
Without Foggy in a picture, like you said. I mean, I don't think he'll be bad, but I wonder if he'll go a little more gray,
Another good line that I think Punisher had was when Matt was like trying to justify it, like, Bullseye got life or whatever, and then Frank was like, did Foggy get life? That seemed to really hit Matt.
Yes.
That was a good
Yeah,
comeback.
that was a good line. Yeah. I liked the scene too I thought it was a nice little scene where he gets back home and What's-Her-Face is there.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm not used to someone being home. That was a cute little scene.
That was, yeah.
And then we had Fisk.
Fisk at his horrible day.
Yes, it was kind of funny.
That was the funniest part of the episode to me. Like when the kids sing "We Built the City" and you just know he's like dying having to listen to it, and then he goes to the Latvian place and they sing "We Built the City" in a different language. That was so funny.
I loved it. And I liked the little intern guy. I don't even know if he's an intern or not, but Daniel, he spills some beans about things and the story gets out. And you could tell the other lady, who's the other lady that's his manager or something?
Campaign manager or something, yeah.
She looked like she was terrified for that kid's life.
Yep. Which I don't blame her.
Yeah, it wasn't just like you're gonna get fired, dude. It was like, she's like, oh God, is he gonna kill him or what's gonna happen here? Like,
Sheila Rivera is her name. It's his political advisor, Sheila. And then as another part of his horrible day, he had that therapist appointment with Vanessa and the therapist where she was talking about Adam's hands, and you could just see he was so annoyed hearing that. It's another part of his horrible day.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And I thought the scenes with Vanessa were good. With she's like, I'm not scared of you, but should I, or something along the lines of that. Now with the therapist, like you mentioned, kind of them having to talk through that. So I thought it was all interesting stuff. And then obviously towards the end,
yes,
he obviously has Adam chained up and eating in front of him for some reason.
Yeah, I really liked the juxtaposition of like Matt going up the stairs and going and putting on trying out the Daredevil stuff and getting back into it. And then you see Fisk descending the stairs, going down. And then you see that dungeon where he has Adam chained up. So Fisk really hasn't changed, is what we kind of saw from that.
Yeah. What else? Are we missing anything else? I mean, that was the main of it.
This is a solid episode. He did also find the bullet, I guess, the bullet casing from the person who killed White Tiger. That was this episode, I think.
Yeah, at the beginning, because he heard it roll down into the drain. Hence why he went to go find Punisher, because it had his logo on it.
Yep.
And like you said, it wasn't Punisher that shot him.
Yeah, it's some copycat.
It also wasn't that dirty cop either.
True,
so
yeah.
I wonder who it was.
It was probably another cop that did it, I would imagine. But I really like that scene. We talked about it a little bit, but with that cop in the hallway. I like their back and forth and him trying to rile him up to see if he was lying or not. That was good.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. What is this, episode 4?
Yes.
So what, we've gone 3 episodes without Daredevil. Is it going on too long without Daredevil? Or do you think the pace is fine?
It almost felt like it, but I feel like this was solid enough that it didn't need it, especially with seeing the Punisher and seeing him being pushed a little bit more. If we don't see it next episode, it might be a little too long. We'll see. It depends on what they do. I'm ready for Daredevil to come back.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't think it's too long right now, but if we don't see any sort of form of Daredevil in the next episode, I'll start feeling it.
Yeah.
But for now, I think it's fine with the way they've been doing things. But I do want to see him suit up again, man. I want to see some of that action.
Yep. We saw a little bit. He's practicing with his weapons, so.
That's right. He woke up in the middle of the night after he slept with his girl and went up and worked out with his nunchucks and whatever
we saw
else
all
he
the
was
masks.
using. Yeah, all the masks. Yep. So it's getting there.
It's getting there.
So one last thing, that scene with that guy that he got the 10 days for, is that guy going to play anymore? Is he be in anymore, or is it kind of just like a one-off little case, you think?
It felt to me like a one-off, but you never know. I guess he could come back.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I were to guess, I would say no. We probably don't see him again. Or if we do, it's like a tiny thing.
If that is the case, it really kind of was an unnecessary scene, because we already know how dirty cops are and how dirty the system is in this universe, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess maybe it was just to get him into the court. And then one last thing. So White Tiger is amulet and stuff. So is there just going to be no more White Tiger, or someone going to fill in the shoes? Like his daughter, his wife, or something?
I know, he did have the scene with his niece or daughter or whatever. I think it was
her niece. Yeah, I think it was a niece. Yeah.
So maybe she picks it up. I don't know, because they definitely showed it being like bagged for evidence and stuff. So I wonder who gets it. Probably his niece, and
because it gives them powers. Whoever.
Yep.
I think, right? Like the amulet has powers.
Yeah.
But does it need to be like the same bloodline or anything?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know much about White Tiger, so
yeah, me neither.
Because I am watching I think it's the same, but I am watching an animated Spider-Man show with my kids.
Oh, nice.
The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if you've seen that one. Or Ultimate Spider-Man. The Ultimate Spider-Man. It came out. I never watched it because it came out in like 2012.
Okay, I don't think I've seen it.
It has White Tiger in it, but she's a girl.
Oh, interesting. Well, maybe.
I wonder if the niece takes up eventually, or the wife, or someone. It did show the niece. That's why I was thinking the niece. But she looked kind of young.
That's definitely possible. Interesting.
I think it's the same White Tiger. They say White Tiger in the show.
I'm looking it up. Yep. So, White Tiger. Huh. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that. That's interesting.
I wasn't either. Yeah. Because they also have Danny in it, Iron Fist in that show too. And I recognized him from the Netflix show.
Yeah.
So I knew that name, so I know who Iron Fist is. And then they said White Tiger. I'm like, wait, White Tiger? That sounds familiar. I'm like, wait, the new Daredevil season. And I'm like, wait, but this is a girl. And so I wonder if she's related to, what was the guy's name in this show?
Hector. I think Hector Ayala. Yeah, so that would make sense. I wonder if that'll happen now, or if they're setting that up for future seasons.
For like future, yeah.
They definitely gave her a reason to want to like become a vigilante, because the cops don't do what they're supposed to. So that talk makes a little more sense now too.
Yeah, I wonder if they're setting up for future season, like maybe not this season, but if the show's renewed, like the next season or something. You know, they could age her up, and I don't remember how old she looked. She looked young to me in that scene. But.
Yeah, definitely like a teenager somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's kind of all I had on this episode. It was, like I said, more of the same, but solid. It was good.
Solid, yep. Not a 10 out of 10 like our other ones, but definitely solid.
No, yeah, definitely solid. Definitely not a 10 out of 10. Or an 8. It's not 10 out of 10, man. It's an 8 out of 8.
Right, it's an 8 out of 8.
Oh, man.